They told you to be good, polite, honest, patient. They told you to follow the rules, to play fair, to trust the system. But what they never told you is that the people who taught you those rules were never playing by them. The world doesn't reward the good, it exploits them. The ones preaching fairness are the first to cheat. The ones who shout about peace profit from your compliance. The ones who talk about humility use it to dominate you. You were raised to believe obedience was a virtue, but it was really a leash. You were conditioned to be soft, predictable, and easy to control. This world isn't built on justice, it's built on leverage. And it doesn't care how nice you are, it only cares how useful you are. Your kindness made you a target, your honesty made you vulnerable, your decency made you prey. And the worst part, they made you believe that made you righteous. It didn't, it made you weak. While you were trying to be liked, they were trying to win. While you hesitated, they advanced. And now, you're standing in a game you never prepared for, surrounded by smiling assassins, ruled by silent killers who never once played fair. This isn't about becoming evil. It's about waking up. Because if you still believe goodness alone will save you, you haven't understood the game you're in. To survive, you must learn to play dirty. If you're done playing by rules designed to keep you down, if you're ready to see the world as it really is, not as they want you to believe, then this is where your transformation begins. Subscribe now. Join a community that doesn't settle for fairy tales or empty promises. Here we speak truth without sugarcoating. We teach you how to wield power, strategy, and control in a world that rewards the ruthless. This isn't for the faint of heart. It's for those willing to face uncomfortable realities, to sharpen their minds, and to take their survival into their own hands. If you're serious about becoming more than prey, if you want to learn how to navigate the shadows and come out on top, subscribe, and let's get to work. The game is rigged against the naive. You weren't born weak. You were made weak. Shaped by a system designed to dull your instincts, tame your will, and turn you into a compliant participant in someone else's game. From childhood, you were told to be nice, to wait your turn, to never question authority. That wasn't morality. They were behavioral chains. A leash disguised as character. Think about it. The rules you were taught: don't lie, don't fight, don't manipulate. Who benefits from those rules? You? Or the people who already hold the power? This is the first uncomfortable truth. The world isn't fair, and it was never meant to be. The idea of fairness is a control mechanism. A myth fed to the masses so they'll stay in line while the sharpest minds exploit the chaos behind the curtain. The naive believe that effort alone leads to reward, that if they do good, they'll get good. But the game doesn't reward virtue, it rewards awareness, timing, leverage, and strategy. Take a look around. Do you really think the people at the top got there by being kind? By playing fair? By doing what they were told? Of course not. They learned the hidden game early. They realized the system is a performance, and those who rise are the ones who understand how to manipulate the stage. Naivete is a liability. It makes you predictable, emotionally fragile, and dangerously slow. It makes you trust too quickly, forgive too easily, believe too deeply in structures that were never built for your benefit. And that's exactly what predators want. They want you disarmed. They want you docile. They want you soft, so they can take what's yours without resistance. The ones who thrive aren't necessarily the strongest. They're the most strategic. They don't ask for permission. They calculate. They don't seek fairness. They seek advantage. They don't wait for opportunity. They engineer it. This doesn't mean you abandon all integrity. It means you stop confusing obedience with morality. You stop equating victimhood with virtue. You start recognizing that power is not evil. Power is survival. The modern world is a game board, and most people don't even realize their piece is being moved. Every social interaction, every career move, every political shift, it's all part of a psychological chess match. And the ones who win are those who stop playing checkers with a smile. The truth is, if you're still living by the script they handed you, you're already behind. You've been outmaneuvered, not because you're unworthy, but because you were uninformed. But that ends now. Recognize the rigged game for what it is. Accept it, study it, and then learn to beat it. Because until you do, you're not playing to win. You're playing to lose politely. Nature doesn't care about fairness. It doesn't care about kindness, morality, or intention. It cares about one thing: survival. And in the brutal logic of nature, survival doesn't belong to the noble. It belongs to the ruthless. Darwin never said the strongest survive. He said the most adaptable do. And who adapts fastest in times of pressure? The one willing to do what others won't. The one who sheds comfort, abandons illusion, and acts with cold precision when others freeze in fear. Look at the animal kingdom. Alpha wolves don't wait their turn, they dominate it. Predator birds don't ask permission before diving for the kill. In early human tribes, leaders weren't chosen for compassion. They were feared, respected, and cunning. Those who rose did so through strength, strategy, and aggression, tempered only by necessity, never by morality. This is not cruelty, this is reality. Compassion in nature is conditional. It exists only when strength allows it. Weakness masked as virtue is a fast path to extinction. Fast forward to the modern world. The battlefield didn't vanish, it evolved. The jungle became the boardroom. Spears became legal loopholes. Tribal dominance became media manipulation. And now the new predators wear suits, speak softly, and smile while they conquer. The modern jungle is built on optics, influence, and information warfare. The people who rise are the ones who embrace this shift. Because in today's world, algorithms are the new propaganda, and attention is the new territory. You're not competing for survival with claws, you're competing with perception, strategy, and speed. And just like in nature, those who hesitate get devoured. You want proof? Look at Steve Jobs. Brilliant, but brutal. His obsession with perfection wasn't friendly. It was ruthless. He demanded more than most could handle, and he didn't apologize. And because of that, he changed the world. Look at Napoleon Bonaparte, a master of narrative. He didn't just fight wars, he controlled how those wars were remembered. He painted himself as a myth, bending perception to amplify fear and loyalty. He understood that fear could win battles before a single bullet was fired. Or take the Cold War, a decades-long psychological campaign between superpowers. It wasn't won through honesty or decency, it was won through propaganda, misinformation, intimidation, nuclear standoffs, shadow wars, espionage. Two global giants locked in a chess match where transparency was suicide. That's the real world. Survival favors the cunning, not the kind. Power survives, power adapts, power evolves. And now, here you are, in a society that rewards victimhood publicly while respecting dominance privately. A culture that tells you to be soft while quietly submitting to those who are strong enough to lead, manipulate, and control the narrative. This doesn't mean you discard your humanity, but it means you must stop expecting the world to play fair. Because while you're out there trying to be liked, someone else is outmaneuvering you, using your every move against you, setting traps you don't even see. In the jungle, compassion doesn't survive. Power does. That rule hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is that now the predators wear different masks. And if you want to survive in this modern jungle, you better stop looking for fairness and start studying the rules they don't teach in school. Because evolution doesn't wait. It doesn't care how noble you were. It doesn't care how much you meant well. It only cares whether you adapted or got erased. Let's clear something up. Playing dirty does not mean becoming evil. It means you stop being predictable. It means you stop wearing moral blindfolds in a world that rewards those who see clearly and act strategically. The word dirty is emotional, used by the naive to shame those who play to win. But here's the truth. What they call dirty, the winners call smart. It's not about hurting people, it's about outmaneuvering them, outsmarting them, using the battlefield of reality, not fantasy. Playing dirty means understanding the game behind the game. It means seeing through the smiles, hearing what's not said, and exploiting what others overlook. Do you want to win? Then understand the rules they pretend don't exist. Because here's what the strategic mind knows. Appear weak, strike strong. When they think you're harmless, they let their guard down. And that's when you make your move. Use their ego against them. Feed it. Let them believe they're superior. Then, when it matters, twist that ego into a trap they built for themselves. Plant false narratives, guide their attention, control their assumptions, make them react to illusions while you move in silence. Never reveal your full intent. The more they know, the less power you hold. Speak in riddles. Show just enough to appear transparent. Keep the real weapon hidden. This isn't cruelty. This is strategy. In this world, power is perception. If they fear you, they obey. If they underestimate you, they reveal their hand. You don't have to be brutal. You don't need to shout or threaten. In fact, the most powerful men are often soft-spoken. Calm, calculated. Control doesn't need to be loud. It needs to be precise. Because if they don't know what you're thinking, they can't defend against it. If they think you're simple, they won't prepare. If they think you're weak, they won't see the storm coming. The masses believe in transparency. The elite believe in opacity. You don't need to be cruel, you just need to be cunning. This mindset protects you. It arms you against betrayal. It teaches you to think 5 moves ahead, not just react emotionally. Because when your mind is clear, when your moves are calculated, you gain power over chaos. And chaos is what the average person drowns in. So no, playing dirty doesn't make you evil. It makes you prepared. It makes you unshakable. It makes you someone they can't read, can't predict, and definitely can't control. Because when you stop playing the morality game they rigged against you, you don't become evil. You become free. Manipulation is not just a tactic, it's a system. A machine. And the most dangerous part? Most people don't even know it's running. The average person thinks manipulation only exists in obvious toxic relationships or corrupt governments. They don't realize it's everywhere. At work, on their screens, in their conversations. It's embedded in how power operates. Governments use gaslighting to redefine truth. One moment, the narrative is X, then it flips to Y overnight, and you're expected to accept it without question. Disagree? You're labeled as misinformed. You start to doubt your memory, your judgment. That's gaslighting on a mass scale. It doesn't scream, it whispers until you question your own mind. Manipulation uses urgency and scarcity like weapons. Every headline is a countdown. Every product is only available for 24 hours. Every political message is now or never. Why? Because urgency bypasses reason. It activates fear, and fear makes people compliant. Look at advertising, look at politics, look at dating. The machinery is everywhere. And at the core of it is this: people don't follow truth. They follow what others believe is true. Social proof and tribalism are ancient mechanisms, and they still control modern minds. Humans evolved to follow the crowd for survival. So if enough people believe a lie, it becomes a reality others are too afraid to challenge. That's why you see intelligent people saying insane things. They're not stupid. They're just socially programmed. They fear exile from the tribe more than they fear being wrong. That's the power of the machine. And the manipulators, the ones who control perception, know this. Let's break down their tools. Bookmark. 1. Control access to information. If you control what people see, you control what they think. From censorship to algorithmic filters, the game is not to tell lies, it's to hide alternatives. Starve people of context and they'll believe the only version they're given. 2. Leverage fear to redirect attention. Fear is the fastest way to shift focus. When panic hits, the brain narrows. You can move a crowd like cattle with the right trigger. Terrorism, disease, inflation, scandal, it doesn't matter what. As long as it shocks, you control the narrative. 3. Use flattery to create loyalty. This is subtle but lethal. Praise creates emotional attachment. Tell someone they're special, woke, virtuous, and they'll defend you like their identity depends on it. Because now, it does. So where does this leave you? It means you have to recognize the machine before you get devoured by it. Because this isn't theory, it's happening to you. In your job interview, you're being assessed, not just on competence, but on how well you mirror expectations. They want someone who plays the part, not someone who thinks too much. In your relationships, people use silence, guilt, fake vulnerability, future promises. They manipulate with affection, most of it unconscious. But manipulation doesn't need intention, it just needs a result. In your friendships, you're kept in check by the unspoken rules. You can't succeed too loudly, you can't think too differently. If you do, you're punished, not overtly, but subtly. Less support, more distance, silent disapproval. That's social coercion. In business, deals aren't won by the best product, they're won by perception. The one who controls the frame wins the room. The facts don't matter if the emotional temperature of the meeting favors your competition. And the best manipulators control the temperature, not just the facts. The strongest win, the smartest rule, the kind get used. That's not pessimism, that's pattern recognition. And the antidote is simple but not easy. Stop being a default participant. Start becoming a conscious player. Observe without emotion. Decode language. Pay attention to who controls the frame in every room you walk into. Look at people not for who they claim to be, but for the incentives they serve. Remember, if you feel rushed, ask why. If you feel guilty, ask who benefits. If you feel powerless, ask who designed the environment you're reacting to. This world is a chessboard of invisible influence, and if you're not studying the hands moving the pieces, you're the pawn. Don't rage at the machine. Learn how it works. Then, if you're bold enough, build your own. It's not enough to recognize the game. You have to learn how to play it, and not just play it, but master it. You don't beat the manipulators by being more honest. You beat them by being more strategic, more observant, more patient, more calculating. This is about building your own toolkit, a set of mental weapons forged in clarity, not emotion. A system of thought that turns naivety into precision, that transforms kindness into controlled leverage. Because in this world, power flows to those who know how to pull strings, not those who just react to them. Let's build your arsenal. 1. Strategic silence. Don't speak to fill space. Don't explain what wasn't asked. Don't react to bait. Silence unnerves people. It forces them to reveal themselves. It gives you the edge of mystery. Let them guess your intent. Let them fear your calm. Because silence isn't passive, it's active control. When others rush to speak, you collect data. When others overshare, you build leverage. Speak less. Learn more. Let them collapse under the weight of their own words. 2. Information control. Reveal only what strengthens your position. Control the flow of what others know about you. Don't let them see the full map, just the piece you want them to walk toward. Information is power. Misdirection is defense. You don't lie, you selectively disclose. You shape perception not by what you say, but by what you don't. The less they know, the more they assume. And assumptions are the soil where manipulation grows. Bookmark. 3. Black swan leverage. Hide your strongest asset until it matters most. A black swan is an unexpected move that shatters the game. Most people show their hand too early. They flex, brag, signal strength to feel validated. You wait, you build quietly, you observe patiently, and when the moment is right, you unleash a capability no one expected, not out of precision. That hidden talent, that connection, that piece of information, you hold it like a blade. You don't brandish it, you deploy it when it ends the game. Charm is camouflage. Never forget, people trust what they like, and people like what feels familiar, agreeable, harmless. So play the game. Smile, compliment, mirror energy. Be the version of you that opens doors, not because it's real, but because it's useful. Charm gets you in. Charm earns you time. Charm lets them drop their guard. But behind that charm, your mind stays cold. You're calculating. You're mapping their desires, their patterns, their weaknesses. Because when charm is used as camouflage, it becomes a weapon of entry. Bookmark. Po 5. Cold empathy. This isn't about detachment from others. It's about seeing them clearly. Understanding their pain, their story, their psychology, not to heal them, but to predict them. Empathy allows you to anticipate. It shows you where they're sensitive, where they'll bend, where they'll break. You don't exploit that because you're cruel. You exploit it because you're not stupid. You use what works. A toolkit is worthless without the mental strength to use it. To think like this, you must detach from emotion during decisions. Emotions are for reflection, not execution. When the stakes are high, cold clarity is your ally. See betrayal before it hits. Most people telegraph their moves. If you're watching, pay attention to inconsistency, hesitation, excessive flattery. The signs are there. Think 5 moves ahead. Always. Never react to the last thing said. Respond to the next consequence. Strategy isn't playing hard, it's playing deep. This isn't about turning into a villain. It's about ceasing to be a victim. Because in a world where people use kindness as a signal of weakness, where truth is manipulated and honesty is punished, you don't get points for playing fair. You get played. But when you move like this, with precision, silence, and strategy, you stop being a piece on the board. You become the one setting the game. Morality is a choice. Strategy is survival. You're not obligated to play dirty. But if you don't know how, you'll always be at the mercy of those who do. The lines have been drawn. The illusion is gone. The world you were sold as a child, the fair game, the level playing field, the idea that good always wins, was never real. It was a story, designed to keep you compliant. Because a naive population is a controllable population. And you, if you still believe this world rewards virtue by default, you are the prey they prefer. But here's the truth. You don't have to become evil. You just have to stop being naive. This entire journey, this script, this mindset, isn't about turning you into a monster. It's about waking up the part of you that's been drugged by comfort and blind morality. Because the world isn't run by saints. It's run by those who understand power, use it deliberately, and wield perception like a weapon. If you still think life is governed by fairness, ask yourself, why do manipulators win elections? Why do dishonest CEOs build empires? Why do the cunning rise while the good remains stuck? Because predators don't ask for permission. They don't apologize for playing the game. They understand what prey never will. No one is coming to save you. Now you stand at the crossroads. You either step forward and rewire your identity, or you continue living as a spectator in a game built to consume you. Let's reframe who you are. No more hoping. No more waiting. No more submitting to systems that feed on your ignorance. You don't have to become cruel. You just need to become aware. You don't have to destroy others. You just need to stop handing over your power. So we begin now with a ritual. Repeat each line with your full voice. Not just out loud, but deep with conviction. Let it burn through the old code you were raised with. I see through smiles. Deception no longer fools me. I read intent beneath the surface. I weaponize silence. When I say nothing, I gain everything. I hear what others try to hide. I do not ask for mercy. I create outcomes. I take control. I shape the result. I never beg for fate. I play the game they pretend doesn't exist. I no longer deny the world's mechanics. I bend them to my will. Let these words echo in your nervous system. They aren't just affirmations. They are a new identity. An identity that understands the stakes. That sees the chessboard clearly. Because this isn't school. This isn't a movie. This is war. Subtle, silent, psychological. And on this battlefield, only two identities exist. Predator or prey. The predator isn't cruel by nature. The predator is clear-eyed, focused, unapologetically strategic. The prey? Still waiting for fairness, still hoping for mercy, still refusing to adapt. You've already seen the price of staying soft in a ruthless world. Now it's your turn to decide. Will you remain the victim of forces you don't understand? Or will you master the very systems they use to keep you weak? Because in this world, you were born into a battlefield, and on this field, only those who learn to play dirty survive. Choose wisely. So now you know, not just the rules, but the hidden wiring behind every smile, every handshake, every system that told you to play nice while they sharpened their knives behind your back. They sold you morality to keep you passive. They fed you comfort to keep you controllable. They punished strength and rewarded submission, and they hoped you'd never question it. But you just did, and that makes you dangerous. Because the moment you stop being naive, the moment you stop asking for permission, you become something this world fears. A free thinker armed with strategy. This is your awakening, not the kind you get from a motivational poster, not the type you get from feel-good fluff. This is the kind that makes your blood run cold, that resets your spine, that forces you to make a choice. Stay soft and get swallowed, or sharpen your mind and build yourself into a weapon. You know the answer. So if this message resonates inside you, if it ripped through the lies and hit bone, then it's time you made it permanent. Subscribe, not because it's trendy, but because this is your new training ground, where we rip comfort apart and reconstruct the mind for war. Every video will rewire you, every lesson will strengthen your core, and every word will remind you, you were never meant to be prey. You were born to master the shadows. Subscribe now, and welcome to the new breed. Because this world doesn't reward the honest, it rewards the prepared.